Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. Tyson Fury and Otto Wallin have weighed in ahead of their fight in Las Vegas. Tyson Fury tipping the scales at 254.4 pounds. His opponent, Otto Wallin of Sweden, he was 236 pounds. So what I'll do in this video, I'll cover the weigh-in, a couple of thoughts, because there is a few interesting facts and tidbits, and then on to the fight proper, what's on the line here, and then talking about the potential what next very briefly. But starting back at the weigh-in, and just ahead of that, apologies if you can hear some background noise. It is just teeming down here, and I can hear it in the roof. I'm not so sure it's coming through, or how much it's coming through, but yeah, just apologies for that. But Fury, 254.4 pounds. That's actually his lightest weight since his comeback began in June 2018. His first fight then was against Seferi. He's had fights against Francesco Pianetta, Deontay Wilder, and Tom Schwartz since, and now Otto Wallin. So he's a couple of pounds lighter than he was for the Deontay Wilder fight. He was 256 for that. And he's almost 10 pounds lighter than he was for the Tom Schwartz fight. He was 263 for that, but he's 254.4 on the scale for Otto Wallin. So clearly he has prepared accordingly, knowing that Otto Wallin is a mobile boxer who will look to use movement, use the ring, and Tyson Fury will be well equipped to deal with that. He's coming in shape, and he does look to be in the best condition of his comeback since he came back to the ring in June 2018. And I'm not sure we can really call it a comeback anymore, because I actually believe he's back. It's, you know, the comeback fights were the first few. I think he is actually now back, but 254, that is a good weight for Tyson Fury. And I think for the remainder of his career, for the decent, you know, the big fights that he's going to have, I do think he is going to be around the mid 250s. I think that will be sort of where his weight will settle. But I think he does look in good condition and will be equipped for Otto Wallin, who is 236 pounds on the scale. And that is actually Wallin's highest weight since 2016. Generally, he's been weighing in somewhere between 225 and 230 the last couple of years. So he's 236 for this one. It's not a career heaviest. He has been heavier early in his career, even as high as 249 a number of years ago. But 236 for this one. So potentially we might be able to read into that a little bit, that he's been trying to maybe muscle up a little bit, maybe be able to put a bit more on his punches, because he's not noted as a big puncher in the heavyweight division. Maybe he's really been trying to work on his one punch knockout power, try to have a bit more on that, try to catch Tyson Fury if he can. Fury can be hit and hurt and put down. We've seen that in his career. He has been down on the canvas a couple of times, but is Otto Wallin the guy to really exploit that? I'm not really sure. I think Tyson Fury, being the bigger guy, a similar skill set to Wallin, just much better than Otto Wallin at what Wallin does. So this is going to be an interesting fight with a couple of things on the line here. Obviously, Tyson Fury, known as El Rey this week, he's been embracing Mexican Independence Weekend, and that's been courtesy of the WBC putting the Mayan title on the line. That's a commemorative title, and that has caused a little bit of concern and sort of angst among the WBO president, Paco Valcárcel, who's been quick to criticize the WBC for putting this on the line. And that's because the WBO Intercontinental title is also being defended by Fury. That's in addition to Fury defending his heavyweight lineal status. So the WBO Intercontinental title would have been the main piece of hardware on the line had the WBC not swooped in with this commemorative title. And as we've seen this week, in the past 10 days or so, Fury has really embraced the sort of Mayan title being on the line, embraced that it is Mexican Independence Weekend, and the actual Mexican Independence Day falls on September 16th, a couple of days after the fight. But they have been trying to talk. You can see here on screen Tyson Fury with the Mexican wrestling mask. Obviously, he's been calling himself El Rey with the headband and all that sort of thing, trying to tap into that big boxing market, obviously within the United States, Mexican Americans, but also Mexicans in Mexico, obviously. So this is a fight where Tyson Fury should win against Otto Wallin. 6'9", 254.4 pounds. He's a much bigger fighter than Otto Wallin at 6'5". He has a significant reach advantage of about half a dozen inches or so. Maybe it was 7 inches. But I really do expect him to be popping that jab. While Wallin will be looking to move with Fury and trying to sort of counteract some of what Tyson Fury's doing through movement of his own, I just don't think he is going to be able to do enough. I think Tyson Fury will feel him out for a round or two before starting to pour on a little bit of pressure. In Otto Wallin, who is 20-0 right now, I don't think there is anything that Wallin can do that Fury either hasn't seen before or that Fury can't nullify. And we saw with a guy like Tom Schwartz, who hadn't had the appropriate step-up fights in the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury was able to prove his class very quickly in that one, and as soon as he established that Tom Schwartz wasn't really much of a risk, he really started to put the foot down and put it on Tom Schwartz. But Schwartz was a more sort of stationary fighter than Otto Wallin will be, so it could take a number of rounds before Tyson Fury really starts to take the stuffing out of Otto Wallin. And I do think Fury will be working body and head with the jab. He'll be looking to keep Wallin with the significant reach advantage that he has at the end of his jab, and I don't see Otto Wallin having much success. And it could be a case of maybe 6 to 8 rounds before Tyson Fury really manages to break Otto Wallin down. I think the first few rounds, Wallin may have some success in evading Tyson Fury in the best of his work, but I think Fury will, in the interim, still be racking up those rounds. So I could see this being a clean sweep of the rounds until Tyson Fury eventually breaks down, and I think he will ultimately stop Otto Wallin. 8th round is my pick, somewhere there or thereabouts. I think it will be a bit more trickier because the way Wallin boxes, with his skill, his movement, he will be a harder target to sort of hit and hurt and stop. But I think Tyson Fury eventually gets the job done. And it's not because he's a massive puncher, but he's just better than Otto Wallin. I think it will be a case of accumulation. He will take some punishment over the course of a number of rounds and ultimately be stopped. And moving on to that next thing is interesting because Tyson Fury has obviously been talking about he still wants to fight in December. In an interview with Fight Hype, he reiterated, with or without ESPN and Top Rank, he's looking to fight in December. As part of his deal right now, he only has to have 2 fights in the United States in a year. So he's obviously looking for some avenue to have a fight in the UK. Whether that's part of his current deal, who knows? But he is adamant he wants to have a fight. And for Fury, with some of his things about activity, wanting to stay busy and not sort of sit idle, I could see why he would want to do that, because if they do end up having a Deontay Wilder fight on February the 22nd, 2020, it's a big gap from now, which is September 14th to February the 22nd. For Fury, who has, obviously wanted to have some goals and something to aim towards, that could be just too far out. So I can see why, just for his process that he's going through right now to deal with the issues that he has had regarding mental health and such, that he will want to stay busy and active and have something to aim for. Plus, it would be, no doubt, another easy payday. But what do you make of it all? Tyson Fury, 254.4 pounds on the scale. Otto Wallin, 236. Who do you think's going to win and how? Let me know. Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.